very good evening to you on this Friday, the 15th day of May 2026. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's take a look at the day's news. Now, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro, my God, I beg your pardon. We begin with DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, who is set to address the media today at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, that is JKIA, even as he travels to the United Kingdom. We will be bringing you much more on that as they emerge. Back to the top story. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has continued to castigate the government of a recent surge in fuel prices, accusing it of excessive taxation. Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority EPRA latest pump prices announced on Thursday saw super petrol prices rise by 16.65 per litre, while diesel jumped by 46.29 shillings, pushing retail prices in Nairobi to 214.25 shillings for petrol and 242.92 for diesel. The UDA party lawmaker who fell out with the party leader is now proposing an urgent three-pronged intervention to bring fuel prices below 190 shillings per litre. Alice Diana reports.
The drastic rise in fuel prices has continued to elicit mixed reactions among Kenyans and leaders. In its latest monthly review announced Thursday, Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority EPRA attributed the latest fuel price increases to surging global petroleum costs, noting that the landed cost of imported diesel rose by more than 20% between March and April. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro, however, argues that the tax burden and margins imposed locally remain the biggest contributors to pump prices.
Fuel products, and especially diesel, is an ascendant component when it comes to production, when it comes to transportation, and basically the entire facets of the economy. And therefore, when you give signals of increasing, all the other components are just upwards, and they are sticky. That is why it is not right for the government to again then come back and purport to give some more guidance way after fuel had been increased. We saw that last month, and we saw immediately fuel went up. The other components of the economy went up consequently, and especially transportation costs.
Among the proposals Nyoro wants the government to do in order to bring the fuel prices below 190 shillings per litre is immediately reduce fuel distributors, retailers and wholesalers margins by 4 shillings per litre from the current average of about 22 shillings.
We must reduce our VAT further from the current 8% to 0. In the short term, we must exempt fuel products from VAT. And the third one is that we must do away with the road maintenance levy fund, Kenya shilling 7, that was added in the year 2024 by this government. I have gone further and tabulated the amount of money that Kenyans are going to save. And if we do those measures immediately, the fuel prices in terms of pump prices in Kenya will climb down to both of them below 190 shillings, that is diesel and petrol.
The former House Budget Committee chair disclosed that he has already written to the clerk of the National Assembly seeking amendments to both the VAT Act and Road Maintenance Levy Framework, urging members of Parliament to support his amendments.
I have already written to the clerk of the National Assembly of my intention to amend the VAT Act so that we exempt especially super petrol, diesel, and kerosene from VAT, and consequently make all those products VAT exempt and move them to the first schedule.
Even as Kenyans continue to lament the surge of fuel prices, President William Ruto's UDA party says the increase is a global challenge affecting many countries and not unique to Kenya.
There's a global crisis. This global crisis is impacting on everyone. The fuel prices are going up across the board. It is not unique to Kenya. And the scarcity, as much as the bombing has stopped, The blockade through the Strait of Hormuz has not. We are receiving our cargo at a much higher price than the previous months. You see, we have a 1 month staggered delivery of cargo. So what the new products that are coming in, the new cargo that is coming in terms of our fuel, is cargo now that is actually impacted by the blockade.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch in Nairobi County, I'm Alice Diana.
Much appreciated, Alice Diana, for that report. Now, public transport operators have announced a nationwide strike set to begin on Monday, May 18th, in protest against the recent rise in fuel prices. The operators, including matatu owners, boda associations, and tour vehicle companies, have also announced an immediate 50% increase in fares, citing the high cost of operations in relation to the high fuel prices hike announced by the government on Thursday evening. Speaking on Friday, Matatu Owners Association President Albert Karakacha warned that transport services could be paralyzed, with operators planning to block roads until the government addresses their concerns. The operators also accused the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, of failing to protect consumers and transport players from rising fuel costs.
On Monday, there will be strictly no movement of any vehicles, or the roads will be blocked until the government listens to our cry, because we've been promised, and everything we are promised has not come to fruition. And lastly, we are urging all our investors in the public transport that effective immediately, we are increasing our fares by 50%.
We know very well, and I want it to go very clear, that our tourists are going to be affected as we are going to stage this demonstration. The tourism department and ministry should be aware that many tourists are going to get stuck, and they are not going to be able to reach their destination.
All transport network companies, wherever they are, be aware that we are going to increase our prices by 50% because we don't have the mechanism. We are going to take it upon ourselves. And I caution you, please, don't dare block any driver. Don't dare block any driver. If you don't want to go the hard way, ensure that you cooperate. For our clients, you know what is happening. It's beyond our measures. We are all in this.
I want to ask, if our fuel comes from the Strait of Hormuz, what war have we gone as Kenyans? Ni vita gani tumeingia? There are many other countries that produce oil. Don't force us into a war that we did not start and we're not interested in. If this government is interested in joining the war in Israel, let the individuals raise their hands. Buy oil from anywhere and everywhere. EPRA was set with the hope that it would actually regulate this industry to the benefit of society. Now, EPRA has become the biggest place for cartels to tax Kenyans.
The United Democratic Alliance UDA party has celebrated its wins in Emurua Dikir constituency in Narok County, Poro Ward in Samburu County, and Endo Ward in Elgeyo Marakwet by-elections held on Thursday. The party attributed the wins to the broad-based collaboration with the party's Secretary General Hassan Omar, insisting the Orange Democratic Party had a hand in seeing UDA's candidates carry the day. And as Samia Dika reports, Emurua Dikir Member of Parliament-elect David Keter has pledged to complete the work left unfinished by his predecessor, Johanna Ngeno, who perished in a plane crash in February this year.
Want to declare Mheshimiwa David Kipsang Ketel as the winner for this by-election.
As celebrations are still in high gear in Emurua Dikir constituency, after David Keter was declared the MP-elect in the Thursday's by-elections, after garnering 18,266 votes against his main competitor, Vincent Rotich of DCP, who garnered 10,760 votes. UDA Party Secretary General Omar Hassan has expressed satisfaction in Thursday's exercise, terming the win as a broad-based concerted effort.
We won 4 out of 4 in February, and again in May, it's 3 over 3. And that's why today I am dressed in the manner I am, as symbolic of the strong bond of partnership and success that both the broad-based government has been able to bear, both in terms of delivery to the Kenyan people and in terms of victory.
Telling off the opposition, Omar said Emurua Dikir's win is a show of UDA's might across the region.
We are humbled by the continued vote of faith that is always extended to us by the people of Kenya in demonstrating that the UDA party, the broad-based government, is their party and coalition of choice.
This comes as MP-elect David Keter has vowed to deliver on his promises to Emurua Dikir residents.
You move around the concept today. I'm going to inherit a very poor road network in Emurua Dikir, which is a very big challenge. Also, the poverty index in Emurua Dikir is also very high. So, in fact, I have a very big challenge in trying to improve the lives of women and the youth of Emurua Dikir.
With the Olkalau parliamentary by-elections up next, UDA still maintains it has the upper hand against Rigathi Gachagwa's DCP party.
We'll soldier on. We believe the Olkalau, by God's grace, will be the last by-election we'll have to have by losing one of our own. The next election will be the general elections of 2027. And I am confident that we will replace the emotions with the performance.
The Emurua Dikir parliamentary by-election results has set stage for a future battle of influence between the UDA party and former DP Rigathi Gachagwa's DCP party, which now seeks to make inroads into the vote-rich Rift Valley region by capitalizing on perceived unfulfilled promises. For Newswatch, I'm Sami Adika.
Thank you, Sami Adika, for that report, which takes us on a short break on Newswatch tonight. We will be back shortly. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Sharon Aitore Wangenya. Thank you so much for being one of our viewers. We truly honor you and appreciate you. We'd love to know how you're receiving us, how your reception is in terms of the quality of the video and the audio as well. So please scan this QR code and give us your feedback. Thank you and God bless you.
Welcome back. Lack of national IDs among some Kenyan citizens from marginalized communities and the rise of Goonism culture, allegedly mobilized by political actors, have been identified as emerging challenges that need to be addressed ahead of the 2027 general election. The IEBC has assured that decisive action will be taken against politicians and individuals who propel the Goonism culture, warning that those found responsible risk being barred from participating in next year's general elections. Caleb Muoti has a report.
In a high-profile engagement, the IEBC, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration discussed key issues as part of formal preparations for next year's general election. The Ministry of Interior has identified security concerns as a major threat, and according to Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, the security framework for next year's general election, drafted from lessons learned in previous elections since 1992, is complete and now needs to be adopted.
We have the 2027 election security preparedness framework that is comprising the National Election Security Plan of 2027, and its implementation framework and associated standards operation procedures. And this election preparedness security plan has now been completed, and it needs to be adopted formally.
Murkomen further noted that the government is keen on preventing election-related violence and the growing culture of organized gangs allegedly propelled by politicians to cause chaos during voting periods. He added that security agencies will work closely with electoral bodies to ensure peaceful campaigns and maintain law and order during and after the elections.
I'm very happy with what IEBC and the security team was able to deliver yesterday in the by-elections. To a great extent, there was a very minimal presence of goods and guns in the constituency elections and also the by-elections for the MCS. And so this issue, we need to deal with it.
IEBC Chairperson Erastus Edang termed voters' registration process is a major concern towards next year's general election. According to the Electoral Commission, 2.3 million Kenyans countrywide were registered as voters during the just concluded voter registration exercise last month, with a lot of citizens lacking national identity cards to ease the process.
Our registration will also face challenges in terms of the issuance of national identity documents. And this is a matter that most of the citizens where we visited, where our teams were, those who did not, who are not able to come to register because of lack of IDs, they requested that we pass this message to the ministry, and particularly to the department responsible for national registration.
Since 1995 to 30th April 2026, the IEBC has registered 35.2 million voters, with 17.7 million being male and 17.5 million being female. Meanwhile, between July 2025 and April 2026, the electoral body registered 2 million new voters. This suggests increased interest and preparedness among Kenyans to participate in the electoral process.
Between last year, July, and April 2026, we have had a total of 2 million identity cards issued. Now, we believe that by July this year, within the 1 year, we will have done 3 million.
For Newswatch, I'm Caleb Muoti.
Across our borders, Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has declared an Ebola outbreak in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo after 246 cases and 65 deaths were reported in Ituri province. According to the top health agency CDC, the outbreak is mainly concentrated in the gold mining towns of Mongwalu and Rwampara, with additional suspected cases reported in Bunia. Health officials say Ebola spreads through direct contact with bodily fluids and can cause severe bleeding and organ failure. Early symptoms include fever, fatigue, headache, vomiting, and diarrhea. The agency says regional coordination is now critical due to increased cross-border movement involving neighboring Uganda and South Sudan. This marks the 17th Ebola outbreak in DR Congo since the virus was first discovered there in 1976. WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus has confirmed the new outbreak. And in business, telecommunication firm Safaricom hosted the Spark Accelerator Investor Demo Day, where the 9 finalists from Cohort 2 of the Spark Accelerator program pitched their businesses to leading investors and venture capital firms. The program is a partnership between Safaricom, M-Pesa Africa, and Sumitomo Corporation, with iHub as the implementing partner. It aims at accelerating early-stage startups to grow and scale their businesses. The accelerator provides a blend of training, mentorship, funding, and go-to-market support to spark the growth and scale of early-stage startups that come into the accelerator and set them up for long-term success. Friday's Investor Demo Day marks the final phase of the accelerator program and aims to enhance startups to raise funding and scale their businesses.
So today we are here having what we call the Investor Demo Day. This is where the startups come in, present to various investors, be it venture capital funders, corporate ventures, but also foundations that are in the room. Today's objective is primarily to showcase the investors, the startups as well, not just to VCs, but also to potential partners who would be in the room and would be keen to learn about them, but also to the wider audience or community. So we had a live link where we had people viewing from all over, really learning more about these startups and showcasing who they are. What was the day about? We didn't just have the pitches by the startups, but we also had great insights from Esther, who spoke about how M-Pesa is evolving into becoming an enabler of our vision of being Africa's tech leading company. But we also had investors come on stage and speak about some of the challenges, what do they look for, and giving practical advice and tips to the investors in the room and will-be investors watching on how they could succeed. And we finally wrapped it up with a Thanksgiving or a brief graduation ceremony, where we really appreciated the startups who are on stage today. And we gave them plaques, but we also had a bit of a celebration, as you can hear the music behind us. It's a great culmination of what was a fantastic event, and we had some good fun as well.
And now in sports, Nairobi United wrapped up their final training session earlier Friday ahead of their FKF Premier League encounter against the Posta Rangers tomorrow at the Police Sacco Stadium. The match is scheduled to kick off at 2 p.m. with the team expressing confidence ahead of the crucial fixture. Assistant coach Boniface Omondi says the players are well prepared and focused on securing a positive result as the season enters a decisive stage.
The kind of opponent ule na survive kubaki kwa ligi, hiyo mechi kwa rahisi. Ukiangalia na pia sisi pia tunataka tumalize ligi kwa the best position kwa top 4 ama 5. But the opponent wana fight for relegation. Ukiangalia kwa last season walikuwa bado kwa the same scenario, which kwa hii game yetu tunajua itakuwa tough. So pia sisi tukienda hapo tunajua watu wanatarajia ni kama final kwao, ni league but is a final. Kesho tuna expect maximum of 3 points. Wachezaji wetu hii wiki wametrain vizuri, wamejituma. So after the loss against Sharks 2-0, tumerudi kwa drawing board, kuna shida tulikuwa nayo but tumeiwakia this week. Ambapo kesho tunatarajia 3 points kwa hiyo game ya Posta.
Kenya Police Bullets will be looking to cap off a historic FKF Women's Premier League 2025-2026 campaign in style when they take on Soccer Assassins this Sunday at the Police Sacco Stadium. The newly crowned champions are expected to celebrate their successful season with a grand coronation ceremony after the match, and fans have been invited to join the festivities. The highly anticipated clash kicks off at 2 p.m. as the Bullets seek to finish their title-winning season on a high note.
Kitu kwanza nilikuwa nimetamani sana kuchukua ubingwa. Mimi kama kocha kwa timu nilitoka tulikuwa number 1 mpaka vile nilienda national team ndio vile zikaenda vibaya. Sasa nimekuwa hapa nimejitolelea. Hakuna game nimekosa, nimekuwa 100% matches na ndio nimepata ubingwa, so nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu sana.
Tulipoanza ligi naweza sema tulianza vizuri, tukafika katikati vitu zikuenda vizuri, but tulikuja tukaredeem na tukaendelea poa. Hadi wa sasa bado tunangojea game ya mwisho tuimalize vizuri.
And on that note, we have come to the end of Newswatch tonight. On behalf of the team, thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Till next time, have a good night.